She's called the most powerful woman you'll never see on camera, the mysterious wife of the Emir of Qatar, whose daily life unfolds inside palaces worth billions and jets designed like flying hotels. From a $500 million superyacht to a wardrobe curated by Dior and Elisab, her world redefines quiet luxury. But stay until the end, because what she controls behind the scenes might shock even the world's richest royals. The most powerful woman you never see. In a world obsessed with visibility, Sheikha Jawaher bint Hamad bin Suhaim Al Thani has mastered the rare art of power through absence. As the wife of Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of Qatar, she is one of the most influential women in the Gulf, yet she almost never speaks publicly, rarely gives interviews, and avoids any trace of social media. Her silence has become her greatest weapon, projecting mystery, control, and dignity in a region where image equals influence. Those who have seen her at state functions describe a presence that is both commanding and serene. Each movement is deliberate, each glance rehearsed, a performance of subtle diplomacy. At the Doha Forum, where she once accompanied the Emir, cameras captured how she acknowledged dignitaries with the slightest nod, her posture unshaken amid global leaders. It wasn't arrogance, it was choreography, one that communicated respect, strength, and restraint all at once. Every public appearance by Sheikha Jawaher is a calculated statement. Her attire follows the Qatari tradition of modesty but is tailored by world-class designers, Valentino, Dior, or Elisab. Each gown customized to adhere to royal protocol while reflecting global sophistication. A single ensemble can cost $20,000 to $60,000, yet it is never about extravagance. Instead, it's the balance between elegance and symbolism that captivates observers. And when she appeared in a custom deep emerald abaya at a diplomatic banquet in 2024, it wasn't just fashion. It was a message of renewal and prosperity, matching the national color of Qatar. Behind the scenes, her influence within the royal court is undeniable. While Sheikh Tamim is the face of Qatar's modernization and diplomacy, Sheikha Jawaher shapes the invisible layer, the tone, the image, the emotional balance of the monarchy. Advisors refer to her as the mirror of the crown, reflecting how Qatar wishes to be seen by the world, disciplined, refined, and unwavering. She directs cultural decorum at royal events, manages the education and upbringing of the royal children, and ensures that every ceremonial gesture aligns with both Islamic tradition and international expectations. Yet, what makes her truly formidable is not just wealth or lineage, it's the aura of enigma she sustains. The more she conceals, the more the world watches. In an age of oversharing, she has made discretion a luxury of its own, turning privacy into prestige. Comment: power doesn't need to shout if you believe that influence can speak louder in silence. Because Sheikha Jawaher has proven one thing beyond doubt, the most powerful woman in the Gulf doesn't need to be seen every day to be remembered forever. Royal roots and the marriage that united dynasties. Born into the Al Suhaim family, one of Qatar's oldest and most respected noble lineages, Sheikha Jawaher bint Hamad bin Suhaim Al Thani was destined from birth to occupy a space between tradition and power. Her upbringing was defined by formality, discretion, and purpose. Tutors chosen from Europe and the Arab world instructed her in diplomacy, theology, and art, while her early education at Doha's elite institutions emphasized both refinement and resilience. By her teenage years, she was already fluent in multiple languages and trained in royal protocol, an education not simply for intellect, but for legacy. Her marriage in 2005 to Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, then Crown Prince of Qatar, was more than a romantic union. It was a carefully arranged convergence of influence, an alliance between two dynasties that had shaped Qatar's identity for generations. The Al Suhaim family traces its ancestry to some of the earliest tribal founders of the Qatari state, while the Al Thani family represents its modern political and economic leadership. Their marriage symbolized continuity, a fusion of heritage and progress designed to stabilize the monarchy's image as Qatar expanded its power on the global stage. The royal wedding itself was a national spectacle, hosted in Lusail Palace, surrounded by marble courtyards and gold-leaf domes crafted by artisans flown in from Italy and Morocco. Jewelry historians still reference her wedding ensemble, a custom Cartier diamond tiara valued at over $2 million, paired with an embroidered gown featuring silk threads dipped in platinum. Every detail of the ceremony reflected Qatar's rising global status, opulent yet balanced with restraint and symbolism. Years later, within the royal household, Sheikha Jawaher's influence became quietly apparent. She oversees the private education of their 4 children, ensuring each receives an upbringing consistent with both Islamic principles and global leadership standards. The children's tutors rotate between Doha, London and Geneva, reflecting the family's international outlook. Sheikha Jawaher personally curates their exposure to languages, culture and etiquette, believing that true nobility lies not in wealth but in conduct. Her control over this sphere ensures the next generation of Al Thanis will inherit not only immense power but the discipline to wield it wisely. Behind closed doors, Sheikha Jawaher maintains a steady presence within the Emir's advisory circle, though rarely acknowledged publicly. Her counsel reportedly extends to matters of social reform, heritage preservation and women's education, a domain she views as the cornerstone of Qatar's long-term prosperity. In a court defined by opulence and global influence, her restraint is her strength, and her silence is strategy. Each gesture, from the way she appears beside the Emir at state banquets to her precise management of family traditions, carries weight. To the public, she is the embodiment of grace. To the elite, she is the quiet architect, ensuring that Qatar's royal bloodline remains unshaken, dignified and prepared for whatever comes next. The palace beyond imagination. Lusail Palace, the residence of Sheikha Jawaher bint Hamad bin Suhaim Al Thani, is less a home and more an architectural statement, a symbol of the union between divine artistry and modern engineering. Estimated to be worth over $1 billion, it stands along the shimmering coast of Lusail, Qatar's city of the future, where royal tradition meets cutting-edge design. Every stone, archway and corridor inside this palace tells a story of power, precision and an unspoken message. Luxury, in its truest form, is not about excess, it's about control. The palace's exterior blends traditional Islamic geometry with sleek European proportions. Its facade, constructed from Italian Carrara marble and Moroccan Zellige mosaics, reflects sunlight by day and glows under golden illumination at night. The gardens, designed by French landscape architect Jean Mus, are inspired by the concept of paradise described in the Quran: flowing waterways, floral symmetry and olive trees imported from Andalusia. Some over 300 years old, the gardens alone, according to architectural reports, cost more than $25 million to complete. Inside, the opulence deepens. The grand entrance leads into a 600-square-meter atrium, where marble pillars rise beneath a handcrafted dome gilded in 24-karat gold. The interior design, led by the late Thierry Despont, fuses Qatari heritage with modern grandeur. Every chandelier, some valued at $200,000 each, was blown in Venice, and the palace's carpets were woven by artisans in Isfahan using silk dyed with saffron and crushed pearls. Even the walls are lined with rare limestone quarried from southern France, polished to a mirror sheen. But beyond its visual splendor, the palace serves a deeper purpose. Diplomacy. A private gold-leaf conference room hosts high-level meetings where royal family members and dignitaries discuss state affairs away from cameras. Adjoining it is a grand reception hall with capacity for 300 guests, where every meal is served on custom Hermes china and crystal glassware from Baccarat. It's a palace built not just to impress, but to influence. Yet one of Lusail Palace's most intriguing features remains unseen by most: the Majlis Al-Nisa, a private wing exclusively for Sheikha Jawaher and her female guests. Here, influential women from across the Gulf gather behind carved cedar doors for discussions that shape regional charity, culture and education. No photos are ever released, no press allowed. But within those walls, decisions ripple across the Arab world, proof that true power often resides where the world cannot see it. The sky, the sea, and the fleet of power. When Sheikha Jawaher bint Hamad Al Thani leaves the serene halls of Lusail Palace, her world transitions into motion, but never without elegance, precision, and absolute security. Each journey she takes is a carefully choreographed display of power wrapped in quiet grace, whether by air, land, or sea. Her preferred mode of travel is the custom Boeing 747-8 under the Qatar Emiri flight, a fleet reserved exclusively for the royal family. This aircraft, valued at over $400 million, is not just transportation, it's a floating palace in the sky. The cabin's interior was designed by Greenpoint Technologies in collaboration with Airbus corporate jets, featuring private suites with king-sized beds, marble-clad bathrooms and a sky lounge adorned with Qatari motifs in gold and ivory. A meeting room equipped with encrypted communications allows the Sheikha to stay connected to state affairs mid-flight, while a private prayer room, lined with soft white leather, reflects her spiritual discipline. Every journey is accompanied by a dedicated crew trained to royal protocol, ensuring her comfort and confidentiality are never compromised. On the water, her travels unfold aboard the magnificent superyacht Al Lusail, a 123-meter masterpiece built by Lursen Shipyard and valued at around $500 million. The yacht's steel hull and aluminium superstructure support an interior crafted by Marchant White, the same studio behind some of London's most luxurious penthouses. Inside are 10 lavish suites, a spa with an onyx steam room, a cinema with 4D projection, and a rooftop helipad for swift transfers. The main deck features a marble swimming pool surrounded by teak lounges, while the lower deck hosts a private beach club opening directly onto the sea. Designed with zero-speed stabilizers and hybrid engines, the Al Lusail glides almost silently, its luxury matched only by its discretion. On land, her motorcade mirrors the same balance of sophistication and strength. It includes an armored Rolls-Royce Phantom, a Bentley Bentayga, and a Mercedes-Maybach S600, each customized with bulletproof plating and encrypted communication systems. These vehicles travel in coordinated formations, accompanied by security convoys operated by the Tari Amiri Guard, ensuring absolute safety and privacy. Yet behind every display of grandeur lies subtlety. Her movements are rarely publicized, her routes never disclosed. Each trip, no matter how brief, becomes a statement of sovereignty, power exercised not through noise, but through poise. Comment luxury is silence with authority if you believe that true influence doesn't need to announce its arrival. Elegance as strategy. For Sheikha Jawaher bint Hamad Al Thani, fashion is not vanity, it is diplomacy. Every outfit she wears carries a message, woven as deliberately as a royal decree. Her wardrobe is not designed to dazzle, it is designed to define. While other royals embrace opulence through diamonds and tiaras, Sheikha Jawaher commands attention through restraint. Her style has become an unspoken extension through restraint. Her style has become an unspoken extension of Qatar's soft power, projecting dignity, wealth, and modernity without ever appearing excessive. Her signature looks are a masterclass in quiet luxury. Each ensemble, often curated from Valentino, Dior or Elisab, is meticulously tailored to reflect both Islamic modesty and couture precision. The fabrics, silk, organza, embroidered chiffon and fine cashmere, are custom dyed to hues that shift subtly under the desert light. Her attire typically costs between $20,000 and $60,000 per set, not for extravagance, but for craftsmanship. Every seam, every thread tells the story of a woman who understands that influence, when wielded correctly, is silent yet undeniable. The Sheikha's private atelier inside Lusail Palace houses pieces not yet released to the public, exclusive previews from global designers eager to court her approval before launching in the Gulf market. Fashion insiders often refer to her as the invisible icon of the Middle East, a woman whose appearance can determine which couture houses thrive across Doha, Dubai, and Riyadh. Designers like Maria Grazia Curie of Dior and Elisab have credited her for inspiring an entire line of modest haute couture, an aesthetic that merges elegance with faith. Yet her fashion choices are not only personal, they are political. When she attends diplomatic receptions, her garments are chosen to reflect cultural respect. In Paris, she wears muted pastels inspired by French minimalism. In Tokyo, structured silhouettes symbolizing discipline, and in London, flowing fabrics that pay homage to Gulf traditions. Even the placement of a brooch or the embroidery on a sleeve may hold symbolic meaning, crafted to communicate subtle messages of alliance and identity. Her accessories mirror this philosophy of purposeful restraint. Instead of flashy diamonds, she favors emeralds and pearls, often sourced from private collections valued at over $10 million. They are never oversized, never ostentatious, just perfectly placed to draw the eye without overwhelming it. To the global elite, Sheikha Jawaher's elegance is more than fashion, it is strategy. It's how she commands rooms without speaking, how she shapes narratives without interviews, and how she has become, quietly but unmistakably, one of the most influential women in the Arab world. Power behind the throne, wealth, strategy, and soft influence. Beyond her elegant public image, Sheikha Jawaher bint Al Thani commands a sphere of influence that extends far beyond palace walls. She is not merely a figure of grace, she is the strategist behind Qatar's transformation into a global cultural and educational powerhouse. Her focus has never been on fleeting displays of wealth, but on shaping institutions that will define her country's legacy for generations. Under her guidance, the Qatar Foundation has evolved into one of the most ambitious educational ecosystems in the world, with an endowment exceeding $15 billion. The foundation partners with top universities such as Georgetown, Cornell, and Oxford, bringing branches of their programs to Education City in Doha. The initiative, often referred to as education diplomacy, has turned Qatar into a hub where the future elite of the Arab world study under Western academic systems without leaving their homeland. The Sheikha's vision ensures that knowledge and influence circulate hand in hand, a subtle form of soft power that no amount of oil wealth alone could buy. Her influence extends into the cultural domain through her oversight of Qatar Museums, a network of art and heritage institutions valued at over $1 billion in assets. The crown jewel among them is the Museum of Islamic Art, designed by I.M. Pei, which houses manuscripts, textiles and ceramics dating back over 1,000 years. Beyond preservation, Sheikha Jawaher has pushed for Qatar's museums to commission modern artists from across Africa and Asia, bridging past and present to redefine the global narrative of Islamic art. She also plays a crucial role in philanthropic projects, directing resources toward women's education and healthcare initiatives in regions often overlooked by major foundations. Each initiative she supports is designed not as charity, but as investment in knowledge, heritage, and identity. Her power lies in how quietly she wields it. While others display their influence through public appearances, Sheikha Jawaher moves through boardrooms and cultural summits with precision, her decisions shaping national strategy. In a world where power is often loud, she has mastered its quiet form, turning education, culture, and intellect into Qatar's most enduring form of wealth. And through her, the narrative of modern royalty becomes something deeper, not just luxury, but legacy. The woman who defines modern royalty. In a world where most royals seek cameras and headlines, Sheikha Jawaher bint Hamad Al Thani has mastered a different kind of influence, one that thrives in silence. She is not the queen who speaks, she is the one the world leans in to listen to, even when she says nothing at all. Every public appearance, every rare photograph, every carefully chosen gesture is deliberate, crafted to sustain an aura of mystery that makes her presence impossible to ignore. Her power lies in her ability to embody both tradition and transformation. In a region where leadership has long been defined by visible authority, Sheikha Jawaher represents a redefinition of royal womanhood, modern, educated, and globally aware, yet deeply anchored in heritage. She does not engage in public debates or media interviews, but her influence is unmistakable. Her name surfaces in diplomatic circles, philanthropic boards, and cultural councils where policy and image converge. She is not the spokesperson of Qatar's future, she is its quiet architect. Observers often refer to her as the Silent Queen of the Gulf, a title born not from absence, but from restraint. Her silence is not withdrawal, it's strategy. In a digital age saturated with voices competing for attention, Sheikha Jawaher's decision to remain private transforms her into an enigma, making her even more powerful. Her minimal presence amplifies her mystique, positioning her as the antithesis of modern celebrity culture. The fewer details the world knows about her, the more it wants to know, and that curiosity keeps her relevance eternal. When she does step into the public eye, her demeanor reflects balance and authority. Whether attending a national celebration beside the Emir or hosting international dignitaries at Lusail Palace, her composure communicates confidence rooted in centuries of tradition. Her ability to blend into the background while still commanding attention is her signature, a form of dominance through elegance. To many young women across the Middle East, she symbolizes a new interpretation of power, one that doesn't need to shout to be heard. She stands as proof that in an era obsessed with exposure, the truest form of influence lies in mystery. Comment power is louder in silence if you believe that sometimes the quietest people in the room are the ones shaping history behind closed doors. Behind every empire lies a force that never seeks the spotlight, and for Qatar, that power is hers. From global charities that reshape education to influence that reaches boardrooms in Paris and palaces in London, her life is proof that true wealth isn't loud, it's orchestrated. If you enjoyed uncovering the secret world of Qatar's First Lady, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel and stay tuned, because part 2 will reveal the unseen deals and influence that even money can't buy.